So who have I not worked on? What was that, a drive-by? Contemplate. Isn't that funny? She actually described that as contemplating life's choice. On the mat, off the mat. You know, should I stay or should I go now? I'm just saying. Okay, so the last thing that we did, okay, is we were here, and what was the last thing that we did?
Press the foot.
Boop, 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 boo. Okay, warm up, follow down, stretch the foot. Okay, now, the next one is Yanakab, which you guys are already familiar with, so this should not be too much of a tangled mess. See, he says with the, hopeful, positive, projecting that positivity into the ether expression. Elizabeth? Okay, so we get in here nice and comfortable, nice and comfy. See, get all up in the business. Nice and comfy. And see how I let this leg just kind of lollygag over the other leg, and then I come in here and push this foot out until I can get it here. Okay, now see how this is a little different position than we did in level 2 and level 1, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is first position. First position is just one foot, and I'm hanging on to the ankle for dear life, and the line I'm working is called the most posterior line in the upper leg. If you could visualize what's on the other side of that line, it's the femur. So I actually want to push hard enough that I can feel the floor being the femur, the thigh bone, okay? I actually want to push hard enough that I bend it. So it's not just that I push it hard enough to feel it, I actually want to push hard enough that I bend it. And more than that, it's a 3-joint decompression, which means that when I push in here and I'm using, when I say heel, let me show you exactly what I mean. This point. This is not the heel, okay? That is the calcaneus, which is on the back of the heel, okay? But right up here, if you visualize that your leg was a hollow tube, okay, and then kind of superimpose that hollow tube over the bottom of your foot, it's not back here, okay? It's here. This is where that projection of the lower leg goes through the bottom of the foot, okay? So from an energy point of view, from a power point of view, the strongest part of the foot is right here. See, not up here, not back here, but right here. Not on top, because that's off the line, obviously, okay? So it's right here. So I put this point on that most posterior line, which on the acupuncture chart, that would be what? Bladder. I have to blurt sometimes because I just can't wait. I could wait. La, 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 la. What's the name of the line? Okay, so we're going to say it's the bladder line. And also, by the way, after you do Yanakap, you have to go to the bathroom. That's quite normal. It is, because we're stressing the bladder line. But also, it's Sinkalatri in Thai, or Kalatri Nadi, right, in yoga, all right, which has to do with the immune system, which is interesting. By bending and flexing the femur, that is the largest bone other than the pelvis in the human body. And as we bend and flex it, it will stimulate the production of stem cells more than any other bone in the body. Okay, which means bending and flexing the leg bones stimulates the immune system. So we bend and flex the leg bones to fight infection. Isn't that crazy? I know, it's should sound kind of crazy, but there's a loop there. The loop is with the immune system. All immune factors, T killer cells and stem cells, are produced inside the bone. And what triggers their production is an electrical differential called osseous piezoelectric effect, that when the bone is flexed, it changes polarity. When the tension is released from the bone, it changes polarity, and between one and the other is a discharge of electromagnetic energy, which is called an EMF. That little EMF, that microampere EMF, is what tells the marrow to produce a stem cell. Hey, wake up, produce a stem cell. Okay? And then, of course, we're also helping with the overall circulation, because if you have stagnant circulation, especially in your legs, then, and you want to overcome that, then pump the thigh like crazy. You get the most increase in circulation that you can. That's why things like bouncing and biking and so on are so good for the circulation. But 3-joint decompression. What are the 3 joints? Ankle, knee, and pelvis. So not only am I putting enough pressure, I'm tight to the knee, but actually, if you could see this, I can't see it from this angle, okay? But if you look right here, there's no tension. Come on over, you can see, you can do this. Get on over here. Steph, stop writing. Noi. Just kind of watch right here, right? Just see it's kind of smooth. Just kind of get an idea. It's going to be subtle, but if you're looking for it, you can see it. Okay, you ready? Here we go. I'm actually separating the knee joint. Okay? Now here's the way it works in the body. There's no such thing as a vacuum in the body. No such thing as a fluid vacuum in the human body. If you can move fluid out of a joint, a capsule, we call it the bursa, which all the joints have one. If you can move fluid out of a joint, when you release the pressure, fluid moves back in the joint, but not the fluid that moved out. The fluid that moves in is new and has more oxygen, more nutrient, and less waste material than the fluid that went out. So when I pull, and what I'm doing is I'm decompressing the joint. Okay? So imagine the bursa is kind of round like a pillow. Okay? And when I do this decompression technique, it inverts. And instead of being like a pillow, the ends suck in toward the middle. In other words, the further I pull the joint apart, the more the sidewalls of the bursa collapse in, creating a negative potential inside the capsule, which is now pulling fluid into the joint capsule. The second I release the pressure, it wants to return to its original space. And actually, it doesn't do that very efficiently, but it wants to, but it doesn't. And in fact, what it does is, so I lengthen the bursa, the sides collapse, okay? Fluid is being drawn into the bursa from the interstitial flow, from immediate blood supply and whatnot. When I let go, boop, it wants to balloon back out, but it doesn't do it very well. So what it does is it goes whoop, 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 whoop. I know, special effects, right? It cycles. It goes in and out, in and out, in and out. In other words, it's kind of like Jell-O. It goes in and out, in and out, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That is called PNF. That's the PNF effect. Now, PNF can be seen also in muscles, but this is how the PNF is reflected in the joint. So what it means is, for a second after I let go of the pressure, the joint is breathing. That's what that in and out is. Fluid going in, fluid going out. First is the big push, fluid in, big push, fluid out. Then it's little fluid in, little fluid out, little fluid in, little fluid out, little fluid in, little fluid out, little fluid in, little fluid in. And it does that for about 12 seconds after I let go. When it all stabilizes, I have an almost perfect exchange of fluid in the capsule. So where people say you have fluid on the knee, or you have fluid on the elbow, or you have fluid in, in any joint, and they say there's nothing they can do about it except surgery. No, they're dead wrong. We do it all the time. See, this is why to some orthopedics, what we do is impossible. Because all of their science and all of their mechanics and all of their, head understanding of the geometries and the structures and all this can't account for the effects that we create. But clinically, they're verifiable. And that's why, for example, I can, in my book, in the long COVID book, where it has the benefits of Thai yoga, I have 20 studies in there, clinical, scientific trials that prove that Thai yoga reduces pain and swelling in joints more effectively than any prescription drug on the market. It's been tested against all of them. OTC, prescription, rheumatic. Just doing this works better than all of them put together, and no risk of death. It will not destroy your liver. And in fact, it will stimulate your immune system. That's our side effect. Stimulates the immune system. Okay? And the reason they can't account for it in the drug industry or in orthopedics is because they don't know what we know.
You don't want to know.
They're trying to kill it.
Well, it's not even that they don't want to. They don't even admit that it's a real thing.
Yeah.
See? All right, anyway, is that interesting? I find it interesting. Now I'm also doing that for the ankle. So I'm also doing that for the pelvis. You know how hard it is to get a fluid exchange in the intrapelvis bursa? Well, technically, any orthopod will tell you it's impossible without surgery. Why? There's no way to get to it. There's no handle. And I'm like, oh, what an idiot. Dude, here's how you do it. And they got their pen out, and I go, push and pull. Compress and decompress. Compress and decompress. Ta-da! Measure inflammation before, during, and after. Measure. And they're like, how is that even possible? I'm like, you shouldn't be. Why? Because it's not $1 million technology, that's for sure. So here we go. Now the technique is, on this first part, yes, if all you do is push into that line, and make sure you're not up here, okay? You're dead center into that line, into the bone. It should be solid as if you were pushed into a wall, okay? And so you get one, all right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. On 4, turn that heel in as far as you can. Why? Because then it keeps my foot out of her groin, but yet allows me to put pressure on the sit bone. Okay? So the last point in Yanaka is actually on the sit bone. Okay? And if that feels a little uncomfortable, so be it. It is what it is. Okay? Because now I've worked the full entire length of the hamstrings from origin to insertion.
Semimembranosus.
All of them.
That one's that's really.
But here's the thing: semimembranosus and the biceps femoris actually split over the femur.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So actually, by compressing in this point of view, you have old hamstring injury with scar tissue. Okay, you can spend years in therapy trying to correct the scar tissue from a hamstring tear. I can put you in this position, measure your range of motion. Sit up, Jessica. You're a yoga person. You can do this without injury. I'm not going to worry about you hurting yourself. Okay, all I want you to do, not fancy, just relax. Jessica, taking full and complete responsibility for your own health and wellness and the performance of this activity at my direction, but you're volunteering to proceed accordingly. All I want you to do is take a breath and do a nice, easy forward bend. Just everybody notice Jessica do her nice, easy forward bend. Extend your hand. Let's just get a little view here. Okay? All right, so let's put this book, right here. Okay? Okay, sit up. Lay down. And we're going to say it's about the hand width. Yeah, go ahead and lay back, just like we were. Come back all the way on the mat. It's okay. Going back to our original position. Come back on the mat. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm taking her into Yanaka, right? So I'm just getting in here, getting in my comfortable place. I'm just doing this as a demonstration, y'all. Okay? So I'm going to use a little bit of pressure.
I did have a hamstring tear on this side.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Pants are slippery. Yeah, you should be. Sorry, wearing slippery pants in class. My goodness. Okay, that's all I'm doing right now. Bring this leg back. Bring this leg out. Now, in the form, we don't do both sides. Only do one side. But just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to do both sides. So I'm comfortable here. So you can tell I'm using a good bit of pressure. I'm not just going over the thing. Okay, sit up nice and easy, back up just a little bit, back about where you were. Okay, take a nice breath and just relax and go forward. It's a solid inch further. Look, and flatter. Why is that?
Because you release the pelvis on the head.
Rick should get it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the inhibition in the forward bend has nothing to do with the back.
It's the hamstrings and the pelvis.
It's the pelvis and the hamstrings. So if I just free up just that, and also it's neurologic, because what is the big nerve that I'm on? Sciatic.
Sciatic.
Okay? Well, okay, most of the time. And so there is a neurofeedback loop. There is an actual physical release. I'm actually tearing a little bit of that Velcro between the adductor magnus and the rectus femoris and so on. I'm actually separating them by bending them over the femur. See, when I bend them over the femur, it kind of separates a little bit of that Velcro. And then if you come back and put her right back into motion, she's got greater range of motion. And so in other words, how to increase ROM without trying. Stretch-free ROM enhancement. No stretching. Compress the agonist. Compress the agonist. Oh God, how come all the physical trainers in the world don't know this? How come all the sports orthopedics don't know this? And I could do more dramatic examples than this. I'm just, showing you the easy one because this is where we're at. All right? So you go back. Okay. Let's get back into it the right way. We were here. Right, we just did the foot, okay, because now I'm just going to sit here without necessarily sitting on her foot, right? I'm going to throw my leg over, and also look, see, I'm just, I'm no slave to fashion. I just, I don't have to sit a certain way while I try to get in position. This goes right in the corner and kick it out until this point is even with this point. Square. Not lower, not higher, okay? Grab the ankle, cup the back of the knee, right, and go for it. So we did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. So, or 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here, I don't care about the 3 rule, okay? And that's because I'm fickle. There's no reason. It's because I'm fickle. Say it, fickle.
Pickle.
Yeah, I'm fickle.
Pickle.
Okay, you know what that means?
Not change your mind, shifty about the element.
Wait, shifty?
Shifty. It's not like
What in the world? Where does, oh my God, where does that come from? It meant wishy-washy. It doesn't mean shifty. Shifty's kind of criminal thing, kind of devious, kind of noise like, hey, the shoe fits. Okay, so we did almost a traditional Yanaka like we do in level 2, right? So that's step number 1. Fold the leg over and capture it. If you need to move up a little bit, do that. Most of the time, if you can get the toes behind your knee here, do that. But if you can't, don't be a slave to fashion, right? Just get it close. And of course, this foot cannot have any space. You want this foot as tight as you can get behind the knee, and then you want to bring this over and then use your hands to tuck those toes behind your knees. See how I've captured her here? See, already we're doing exercise, see? Already we're doing compression because I've got compression on the back of her calf and I've got compression at the origin point on the back of her thigh, okay? But I'm just getting warmed up here. This hand goes here because it can. This foot gets right next to this one, okay? And what I'm gonna do is pull with my leg and my hand. If she thought I had pressure before, that all changes now, okay? Because now I'm pulling in. I call this the clutch. See? Pull into it. This is where I'm bending the bone. Now I'm really bending that bone, okay?
From this angle, you can see it.
Right, so here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so far so good?
Yes.
Okay, now from here, unlock and walk. Say it, unlock, and walk. Unlock and walk. Okay, so unlock, and now it's almost kind of like make nice. I don't have as much leverage as I did. I'm still hanging on to that ankle for dear life, right? But it's almost more of a kneading motion. It's not punching, okay? It's kind of, if you look, I guess if you were seeing it more from the top down, you'd see that I'm kind of going like this, okay? And so what step would that be?
3. Walking.
Step number 3,
Oh,
C,
walking. Sorry.
right? So single foot, which is like your traditional Yanaka level 2 style, whatever, except for the leg position here, okay? Because in Ayurveda Thai Yoga royal method, the outside leg is up behind the knee, supporting the knee when you push. So in the north, I'm in here just getting in her business, getting all comfortable, kind of slouchy, hanging out, letting my leg just kind of lounge over the other leg, and that's I'm working here, you know. So I plan to be here for a little while, so I get comfortable. Step 1, 1 foot. Step 2, lock and push. Lock and push. See, I think clutch.
Lock and pull or lock and push?
Well, yeah, you're pulling and pushing. So look, you pull with your foot and hand into the foot that pushes. So it's push and pull and push, however you want to say it. But it's lock because once I get here, I lock the foot. See? So it's locked in there. It's not going anywhere. And then see how I have this? Right? I have this mechanism, and then I work into it. It's a smaller motion here, of course, but it's very firm, okay? Then from here, unlock and walk. Unlock and walk. And this is almost like making nice, because what follows next may be not so nice.
Double lock.
Double lock. So back off so that the ball of your foot put in the middle of the fatty part of the back of the thigh. And I know Jessica doesn't like it that I say the fatty part of the back of her thigh because she doesn't know she has one. And you push up into it with the ball of your foot. You get up into the belly of the muscle, and then you bring this foot over both of your feet until it locks on this side. Now I have to shift. I've got to change angles. What I'm going to do is turn my body so my shins meet her shin evenly, not one shin digging in more than the other shin. So I rotate in here. So this low part of my shin, see, is now meeting this, okay? And then from here, I've got pressure. I've got the leg lock, but I'm not worried about this. I reach across here, hook my fingers, right? And then hooking, walk down while pulling and pushing with my toes and my shins. Walk out, walk up, hang off the edge here, see? Hang off the edge. And down. Okay, so far so good? Yeah. All right. Then make a soft fist, okay, and knocking. Okay, and if you want to, you can go into praying hands with relaxed fingers, and you can and just knock on it that way. Optional. The knock is not optional. And don't look at my hand when I knock. It's soft fist. I'm not making a hard fist. Don't look at my hand. Again, look at her nose. Look at her toes when I knock, because this is under tension like a spring, right? The spring has tension on it. You get it? Do you see the pressure wave move through the whole body? Okay? That's called dispersal. Dispersion technique in acupuncture. Dispersal. Now, from there, I'm just going to ease out, bring this foot out. Why? So I can just stand the leg up. And then from here, I just change position into, boom, into Sal Nung. Okay? All right, let me do someone else. Okay. Fine. 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 Yes, Noy, would you please volunteer?
Yes, love it.
Okay. All right, here we are. We'll just break it down. I should do the other leg. Okay. So what is this called? Nope. Nice guess, Darren, but completely not right. All right, so the last thing that we did here, I mean, it's next. You're right, you're on to it. It's next. All right, so the last thing we did here was isolate the heel and stretch that out, right? And then leave her there. And I'm just going to sit, use my hands to move around on the mat, okay? And I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to throw this leg across this leg, you know, not hard, right? But I'm going to get in here and push it out to get in space. See where I'm at? I'm comfortable, okay? I don't want to be uncomfortable. The point of that knee has to be as high as the point on the hip. Has to be. That's the geometry that makes this work. Why? One, I'll show you. Jiggle, jiggle. Okay? Because there's no tension. It's at a length where I can not only does it float, but when I put pressure on it, it's going to flatten out around the femur. So I'm actually using the femur as a wedge, which is going to flex first the adductor magnus, which is closest to the bone. It's going to wrap. It's going to fold. And then the two hamstring heads that are on top of the adductor are going to separate under the pressure. They're going to separate. And so the biggest problem with old hamstring injuries are the adhesions between the adductor magnus and the rectus femoris. Okay? That's the biggest problem. So if I can break those adhesions like little Velcros, right? If I can break them apart. Now, it does create microscopic injuries when I do that. However, they're microscopic, so they heal very fast. And they heal because it's not an injury. As I tear the Velcro loose, and there's a little microscopic microvascular injury, as it's healing, she's what? Moving. So as the tissue heals, it heals without being annealed to the underlying structures. It heals freely. Okay? Whereas the original injury was so traumatic, when you tore or injured the hamstring or just tore the fascia, right, it bonds to each other in the scarring process, which because you were hurt so bad, you don't even try and stretch it for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. And a lot of trainers don't want athletes to even try. They think they're going to recreate the injury. Okay? Well, how about this? Don't stretch it out. Deep, broad, deep, non-specific compression on it and spread it out. Don't stretch it out, spread it out. And you get that ROM without stretching, right? And next time you're in the gym or whatever, you see something like that, I want you to do this and then be prepared with your dustpan and broom to sweep up all the jaws on the floor. Just be prepared. It's embarrassing. Have you guys seen that picture of me spotting the world's strongest man?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't ever occur to anybody to ask, why was the world's strongest man asking me to spot him? Because I certainly don't look like, I'm not even on the list. I'm on the list to like, here, I'll wipe the bench down after you're done. How about that? That's my contribution. Why was he asking me to spot him? And on that barbell in that picture that I have, there is 800 pounds. And he's doing sets of 10 on a bench press with 800 pounds. And the bar is bent like this. So his hands are not like this, his hands are like this. And we had to use a custom-built Swedish steel bar, spring steel bar, so that if he did it too fast, it wouldn't break the bar, because that's dangerous. All right, so we did one. Now, tight to behind the knee, like I said. Gently. Don't tweak the knee while you're doing that. See, it's not unnatural. It's just gently. Bring it around and tuck it tight. Okay, you with me? And then now look what I got. See, this is, see, a lot of control here. A lot of control. Bring the feet together and then alternate. 1, 2, come on, Noah, you can yell. 1 and 2 and 1.
Always find joy in the smallest of things. That is what we found in you. Oh, 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 you are joy. Never give up when the going gets rough. Hope is everything you need. Oh, 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 you are hope. Oh, 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 you are hope. And don't forget you're not alone. The Holy Spirit wants to guide you on. The journey, child, will never end once your heart's been marked by a love for Him.